I'm going to be making Christmas ornaments. Hello, Chris Noosh back for another little vlog. And this week, well, this is going to be probably a 2, maybe 3 week project, but I'm going to be making Christmas ornaments. And I've got these 2 little designs drawn out onto some small pieces of birch, and I'm going to be carving these. I'm still dealing with my my cut up thumb. I think I can be able to carve these today, but if I can't, it's going to have to wait until next week. So I'm going to see what I can do and work through. I don't think I use this thumb a whole lot when I carve. I'm just going to work through it and work on these 2 little carvings. The first thing I need to do is I need to spray paint these so I can see the marks that I'm making as I make them. All right, let me go put some spray paint on these pieces. I'm going to do the little hamburger monster first because it's going to have a little bit less going on than the koala Viking. So get out of the way. Let's carve. So I've got both of these little guys finished. The burger, see, I can't hold things. The burger and the koala are all done. First time I've carved since hurting my thumb, and I will give a little progress report there. I don't use my left thumb a whole lot when I carve, but I do use it. I was very conscious of it, and it was difficult to do. I use my thumb to hold the block down in a lot of spaces, and I was very conscious of cutting one of my other fingers, although I didn't do this carving. But I was having to, when I was doing the outside of the block, I didn't film that because I was very conscious, and that was the hardest thing to do because I used my left thumb to kind of hold the block in place, and I wasn't able to do that. So I didn't film it because it was just very difficult to do. So apologies for that, but I've got these both carved. They are done. I want to go get the wood ready that I need to print these on. I'm going to be printing this on 1/4-inch Baltic birch. Very exciting stuff, I know. So I need to go measure out. I think I want to do about 50 of each one of them and then go from there. In the dusty room, got my birch and I got it all measured out. These blocks right here, they're pretty small. They're about 4 inches by 5 inches each. So I'm going to cut 100 or so 4-inch by 5-inch blocks. So I got to measure them out and then get cutting. Still over here in the dusty room, and I've got all of the pieces of wood cut out into little, what did I say, like 4 by 5 squares. And I've got my 2 little blocks. Here's the koala, and I need to paint these now to get a nice base coat before I can start decorating them with paint and then printing on top of all of that. So I've got a cup of some beautiful blue paint, light blue, and I'll be doing some other things with this paint too. It's nice and watery, so it goes on thin and flat, so it doesn't mess with my print quality. So, yeah. All right, so now I gotta paint all of these pieces of wood.
If you haven't noticed by now, my process, printmaking in general, is just very, very repetitive. I'm going to paint all of these using the same thing where I line 3 up and move them to the table. Line 3 up, move them to the table. Line 3 up, move them to the table. And in the middle of all that, I'm going to say hi to Marty. Hello, Marty. What you doing hanging out up there? All right, go back to bed. Sleepy cat. And she's got one of the grumpiest little faces. I promise you that she's happy, but she just always looks like real grumpy. Always glaring at me. All right, back to painting. This time I decided I wanted to go a little faster. Line 4 up, put them out. Line 4 up, put them out. Line 4 up, put them out until I got all 108 painted and ready to kind of paint some more.
And now that I've got them all painted, I'm going to come in with some different colors and just make them interesting. Just going to do some abstract, fun paint splattery things that's going to look cool behind the print itself. So the first thing I've got a little bit of a lighter yellow mixed up, and I'm just going to across the paint. Just kind of paint it on, give it a little texture. And they're all going to be a little bit different.
But that's kind of what makes all these fun. Just like little abstract paints, I like to throw paint at it. Just kind of give a little bit of an area of interest underneath the print. When I do that, the print's going to be real solid. And it's this like lighter paint on top of it's just going to make the background just a little bit more interesting. So now that I'm done throwing some paint around, and I've got one more thing I want to do to them before I print them. I want to do a diagonal streak on the Burger Monster ones, which are the yellow ones. So that's where the eyes are going to be. And I kind of want that to be white. Mostly, it's not. I don't need it to be tight registration. I just want like a streak of white right there. So when I print it, they are kind of white. But I gotta let all that dry first before I can put a white streak on each one. So I got time to relax and work on some other things while I wait for that to dry. Now that I've got all the little boards painted, I've got the little white diagonal whoosh included on the hamburger monster, the burger monster. I gotta print these. I got 108 of them to print, and it's a lot. I think I'm gonna do something similar to what I did last year with the burger monster one. I think I'm gonna print it with red ink. A lot of people seem to like that when I did that with the owl. And with the koala Viking piece, I think I'm going to print that one just with straight up black ink. So it is now time to print both of these guys. Let's get printing. All right, let's ink these up for the first time. Since I'm doing 2 different colors, I have 2 different brayers. So I'm gonna put the black ink on the koala. Boom. And I'm gonna put some red ink on the burger monster. All right, so I put the burger monster on the yellow block and the koala on the blue block. And then we run them through the press. Here I'm watching to see how the boards are meeting contact with the roller, to see if they're pushing down too hard or not enough, just to make sure that it's all just perfect as it goes through the press. And taking the first look. First at the koala Viking and the burger monster. They look pretty good. I think that's a success. I'm gonna do a couple more test prints just to make sure all the settings are good, and the first 2 just weren't a fluke. They're looking good, so I'm gonna put it into major production. I'm gonna lay out about 16 pieces of wood on the press and just print those and take them all away when they're all done. Run them all through. It kind of looks cool though when I do it like this, doesn't it? Coming through the press. The weekend has passed and I have all of these little ornaments that I printed out last week done. They are dried. Did a little bit of a finger test. See? Whoop. Nothing comes off of my finger. And then the other one. Nothing comes off my finger. That means they're dry.
So now it is time for me to cut them out, spend some time on the scroll saw, get these cut out, and then I can finish these ornaments this week with any luck. Fingers crossed. It's a lot of cutting, but it should take me today to cut out all 108 of these. So let's get to sitting on the scroll saw. Well, I'm not gonna sit on the scroll saw, I'm gonna use the scroll saw. So let's get to cutting.
Back to the word of this process, repetition. It's a very repetitive process. I gotta do this 108 times, and this is probably my least favorite spot in the production process of these ornaments. It makes my back hurt, it makes my hands hurt, especially with my thumb all cut up. I had to wear a glove halfway through, but it's kind of fun just to watch the pile dwindle down and go to nothing, and then the pile of completed ones grow and grow and grow until I'm more than halfway through, and the pile that I'm cutting out is bigger than the pile of the things that I got left. So, but I just put in a good podcast, listen to some music, whatever I'm in the mood for, and work through it, work through the pain of my back, and just cut them all out until they're all done, and we got a nice big satisfying stack to paint the edges on, using an airbrush to paint the edges red, and then using an airbrush to paint the edges black.
So after a couple hours sitting on the scroll saw, cutting these out, I've got them all cut out. They are all done. The hard part is over. Now to do the relatively easy part, I got to sign and number each one on the back, and I put my little Noosh stamp on there too, so you know who made it. Also, I've got to tie a bell and a string to each one so you can hang it off the tree. And that is how each one of these is made. And then we go to Target to make our annual trip to Target, and that's where I take all my pictures since we don't have our Christmas trip at this point. And Target has really good lighting, so we go to Target to take a picture of the ornaments hanging on a tree, and they look really good. And that is how I make these ornaments. So 2 brand new ornaments to add to the collection this year. I've got the koala with the axe, which I call the Anxious Warrior, and then the Burger Monster. So these are done, adding to the collection. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. I've got a couple t-shirts that you can watch me print at the end of this video, but thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Thanks. Bye.